Hello everyone, welcome to Mindful Contract Administrator. Today we are going to talk about another compensation event which is being encountered within NEC 4, what is known as adverse physical conditions as opposed to adverse weather conditions. Now, if you go to the FIDIC terminology and if you peruse the subclause 4.12, it clearly talks about what is known as unforeseeable physical conditions, which is either natural or man-made. It may be natural. Now, for example, if you are talking about the bedrock that you expect to receive within the site when you execute the digging of the particular site, you may have realized that based on the soil investigation report, the bedrock is being encountered at a particular depth. But all of a sudden, if you feel or if you perceive a particular rock formation will above that particular rock formation level, that is known as an unforeseeable situation. And is it going to be adverse? Yes, of course. You may have expected a soft soil or a soil which may not be that hard in order for you to excavate and progress with the excavation works. But however, now when you are observing or when you are encountering a rock formation which was never anticipated at the time of tendering, definitely it will become an unforeseeable situation which will give an adverse effect to the progression of the works. Now remember the two words, it is unforeseeable and it will give an adverse effect to the progression of the works. Because there may be certain situations favorable to the progression of the works when it comes to physical conditions. Sometimes you may get soft soil as opposed to bedrock at the anticipated depth. So that will be an added advantage for you sometimes. You may have seen within the soil investigation report that there are a lot of rock boulders which you may encounter. But all of a sudden you feel a clear ground. You see a clear ground in order for you to excavate, and there are no issues at all in order for you to do that particular excavation. When it comes to the NEC format, it talks about something which is very similar, which is known as the physical obstructions that you perceive, that you encounter within the site, that is number one. Number two, it may not be a weather measurement. It may not be a weather condition. It is something beyond the weather condition. And the third thing is, there is a least chance for the contractor to foresee that this particular physical obstruction may have occurred. Now, for example, let's talk about a site which is adjacent to the site that you are going to do the particular works. And you see that there are a lot of artificial obstructions in the adjacent site. Maybe a buried building at the perimeter, at the periphery of this particular site that you are going to work on. Now all of a sudden you see that there is a chance, the slightest chance, in order for you to encounter this sort of concrete chunks within your site as well. So this is what the NEC addresses. So an experienced contractor should be able to foresee that there could be a chance to have an obstruction. That is what is known as unforeseeability within the FIDIC terminology. In the FIDIC terminology, when you see the word unforeseeable, which starts with capital U, it is a defined term. In FIDIC 2017 version, unforeseeable means an event or a condition which may not have been reasonably foreseen by an experienced contractor by the base date. What is known as the base date? Base date is 28 days before the submission of the tender. But when you go to the FIDIC 1999 version, it is known as the date of the submission of the tender. So there is a difference between those two when you compare FIDIC 2017 version as opposed to FIDIC 1999 version. So FIDIC says by the base date, that is 28 days before the submission of the tender, if you are unable to foresee this particular condition, that is known as unforeseeable. In the NEC compensation event, there is something very similar which is given. It says an experienced contractor didn't have the slightest chance to see or perceive or to get an idea about this sort of a physical condition. So if you encounter that sort of a physical condition, either man-made or something natural, you are eligible for a time and cost, which is known as another compensation event under NEC form of contract. I hope you enjoyed this particular video. We will meet within another video in a very short period of time. Thank you very much.